We are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I'm so excited to welcome back for the third time USA Today bestselling author Kimberly Belle, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book out now, The Personal Assistant, burning up all the charts. Kimberly, welcome back. Tell us about your book.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. So, The Personal Assistant is a story about an Instagram influencer who wakes up one morning to find a post has gone viral, but not in a good way, in the worst possible way. She's getting canceled as at the same time that her assistant has gone missing. She calls her assistant a woman named AC for damage control. This woman who knows all her secrets, has a front row seat to all the drama that's going on in her home. And she's not just like gone silent, but she's like officially missing. And the police are looking to Alex, the influencer, and her family for clues.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about because nobody knows how to hook you good like Kimberly Belle. And this time taking a searing look at social media culture, something that all of us are dealing with. So I can't wait to get into every delicious detail. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. So we are going live to 7 different locations across Facebook and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday. And because Mondays can be murder, we're here to make them a little less painful. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So this is your chance to ask the incredible Kimberly Belle about her writing process, her secrets to hooking us, to staying creative, to creating tension, to staying inspired. So many things to talk about. So get the questions going in the comments. I'll get them right over to her. Diane, welcome to the conversation. Joining us from from
She's so
YouTube.
pretty. Look at her.
She's gorgeous, saying good evening. Catch a clue. Wendy saying hi, Sara and Kimberly. Hi, Wendy. Great to have you. Look at your cute little kitty. I love it.
Adorable.
Diane said, I just downloaded it. I cannot wait to
Thank
read it. And
you.
also, I have questions. Diane. Oh, girl,
I
we're
have
gonna get
answers.
we're going to get into it. Julie, welcome to the conversation, saying, I'm so excited to read this book. Julie, great to have you. Oh, look, it's our favorite mystery book reviewer, Aline Cogdell. Welcome to the conversation from the Sun Sentinel, Publishers Weekly, Shelf Awareness, so many things. Aline, a pleasure, an honor. Thank you for joining us. And oh my goodness, Megan, welcome to the conversation. Okay, so many great questions coming in. I'm going to get to every single one of them. Okay, let's kick off with you, Diane. She wants to know, what is your writing routine? So Kimberly, give us the scoop.
So I am a morning writer. I have found that those are my best words. I'm the freshest in the morning. My brain kind of peters out in the early afternoon. So I try to get up and get behind my computer as fast as possible. And I usually I'm on deadline. So I usually go for word counts rather than hours. But if I can hit 1,000 words, that's a great day. And I reward myself with, a piece of chocolate and a walk around the block. But yeah, it's so not glamorous because I'm sitting here in my pajamas or my workout pants and just writing.
Just pounding out the words. So, okay, so you said 1,000 words. So you sit there. So if it takes you 20 minutes, if it takes you 20 hours, your butt's in the seat, you're pounding those words out.
Right. But if it takes me 20 minutes, I keep going because 20 minutes is like super fast. And if I can hit those words in 20 minutes, I can keep going.
Okay.
Usually, early afternoon, that's kind of where I hit a wall.
Now, Kimberly, how early are we talking? Are you one of those 5 a.m. writer club people?
No,
Okay.
those people are crazy. I know a lot of them and I love a lot of them, but they're crazy. They wake up at 5 a.m. They go on Twitter. They're like 5 a.m. Writers Club and they, do sprints and whatever. I'm like 5 a.m. No. My alarm goes off at 7:15. And then I'm usually, my commute is from my bedroom into my living room. So it doesn't take me long to get there. But, once I'm really working by 8.
Okay. Okay. Megan, great question. Kimberly, where did the inspiration from this book come from? Because you are taking a searing look at social media culture, at mommy blogger culture, at marriage, as you always do, winnowing into the cracks and I don't want to say weaknesses, but the tender
Right.
places in
For
any
sure.
relationship, which I think is trademark Belle.
Yeah.
So tell us where the inspiration for this particular story came from.
So I do tend to focus on the marriage issues, but really where this one came from is from my own life. You know, as authors, we are pretty much required. I don't know, required. Like our publishers don't say you must, but they really encourage us to be not just on social media, but active on social media, and you know, posting things that spur conversations with readers and that kind of get some interaction, which that's the good part of social media. I really do enjoy that part, but at the same time, there's a fine line because it's not just me I'm posting about, right? I'm posting about my husband, my kids, my dogs, my friends, and so it's
We
not
all
just
want to see the
me.
dogs, though.
I know. I have a really cute dog. I have two, but the other one never shows up.
Yes, those little cavaliers are freaking adorable.
Mean, and they hog the camera too. But there's always like a really fine line between sharing and oversharing. And so it kind of got me thinking, like, what would that be like if a post hits in a bad way? If people, if you say something like one little wrong word, or you say something that people latch onto, and then it can really turn into this runaway train where you lose all control of how that particular post is understood and accepted by everyone. And I write thrillers, so of course I'm thinking about what would that be if someone on the other end of the computer does not have the best intentions for Alex, my main character, and what if they are looking for some sort of revenge, or looking to destroy her in ways that might be good for a book.
It's interesting because what you said, that publishers don't require authors to do social media. It certainly is expected and encouraged.
Yes.
You feel the weight of that. And I think even in any of us feel that pressure to get the likes, not just as authors, but as people. It's like you want that acknowledgement, that validation, that legitimization. And when you don't get it, it's, that's become sort of a social currency of, I don't know what the previous equivalent would have been, maybe like the cheerleader jacket or the JV badge or whatever. And it really has changed things. I think the goal becomes more followers, more likes, more engagement. So when Alex hits that 1 million follower mark, which should be this incredible cause for celebration, which it is, and cue the tequila, but then things take a turn from there, because of course this is a Kimberly Belle book.
Crash and burn.
Yes, crash and burn. Oh my gosh, Megan, thank you for the great question, and Kimberly, thank you for the fabulous answer. Shannon, welcome to the conversation. Look at that cute little puppy.
I know, Shannon.
She says, "Hi, Kimberly. I'm such a big fan. Did you have any characters in this book that you found really fun to write? I really loved the Shannon Tuttle character. Tell us the story of what's happening."
So Shannon won the. It was a silent auction for your name in a book. So there is a Shannon in the personal assistant for sure.
This is the Shannon. Oh my gosh.
The Shannon.
Hi, Shannon. Thank you for doing the auction.
Yeah. I grew up in Tennessee, and so the easiest ones for me to write, and also the most fun, are the voices like Anna Claire in this particular book. She is a maid in Southern Georgia in the late 1990s. And her voice just, I don't know, it was very loud in my head. She's, like I said, very Southern. She's maybe a little naive, maybe a little uneducated, but smart. And those are the characters that for some reason I really, really love writing, and those are the voices that are strongest in my head.
Thank you for that great question, Shannon Tuttle. And so very cool to have Shannon Tuttle in the with us here tonight as we read a character. So everyone, when you order the book, when you get your copy, you're now gonna know the story behind the Shannon Tuttle character. Diane saying, "How fabulous, Shannon! Congratulations! It's so cool, right?" Oh my gosh, I'm excited too. And Diane is adding that she loves this premise,
Thank
Kimberly. Yeah,
you.
it's so cool. Julie saying, "You're making me want to read this even more." Absolutely. And speaking of which, the book is out for just 6 days, y'all. So here is the link. No matter where you're watching from, here is the link. So click and order, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will have it out to you tomorrow. So order it up so that you too can immerse yourself in the world of Alex, mommy blogger, influencer, Instagram influencer, AC, Anna Claire. We got a lot to talk about. So, and then of course, all the good conversation happens over in Mystery and Thriller Mavens, the Facebook group. So join the group, free and open to all, y'all. And then you can share your every riveting thought and experience, including this mysterious Sharon Tuttle character. So here we go. Oh, thanks for all the love on Facebook, y'all. Okay, let's get back to these questions. Okay, so let's talk about social media culture. So Wendy, catch a clue, saying this whole social media thing is kind of scary. That's why she is using the handle catch a clue. She's keeping a low profile online. Kimberly, do you ever have the desire to go underground? Are you comfortable out there? What are your thoughts?
So far, but I feel like I need to knock on some wood. I've been comfortable. Yeah, no joke. I've been comfortable online, but again, I am, I don't want to say careful, but I am aware of what I post.
Mm-hmm.
And, my kids are bigger now, so it's a little different than if you have little kids. I do think that you have to be aware of all the things that can go wrong. And that was actually part of the most fascinating research I did for this book, is all the horrible, awful ways it can go wrong, and influencers who've been canceled for big things, for very valid things, but also for like stupid and little things. Little squabbles with other influencers online, and then it blows up to this huge thing, and one of them gets canceled, and like I said before, it turns into this runaway train where you have zero control over.
And speaking of kids, when it does become this runaway train, you address that, where trolls start, saying awful things, not only about Alex, this, fake so-and-so, and I always knew she was BS and all this stuff, but then actually making really ugly threats about her kids. Like, I'm going to bring rope to your house so your kids can, take their own lives. Yeah. So it gets
really dark and scary really fast. And the two girls, she has two twins, and they're 12, and they've kind of grown up in the spotlight, but at the same time they've grown into 12 years old as a girl. That's a fragile age, and they're not the nicest people at 12 years old.
Yeah, they're kind of mean to their mom. I felt bad for her in that way.
But at the same time, their complaints are very valid, because they're like, we didn't ask for this. We don't want this. And and I think I say that at some point in the book, the internet is forever. Like, you can't take all that away. It's going to be there still somewhere. So beware what you put online.
Right. Because at one point when the post blows up, she thinks to herself, "Oh, I'll just delete it." But by then people have already made screenshots, and then those are going viral, and she can't even keep up with all the notifications and all the comments, let alone respond to where else they're being reposted. So yeah, it's a really, I think runaway train is the right analogy there. Aline, thank you. Let me pop over to her, and she is saying, I scrolled past it. You have been concentrating on standalones. Any desire to ever do a series?
So I co-wrote a book. It was an Audible original. It's called Young Rich Widows. And I wrote it with Vanessa Lilly, Lane Fargo, and Kate Holohan. And we are actually almost done with book number 2 in that series. So that is my only series that I've done. It's the co-written stuff. Series like kind of bend my brain. I don't know why. It's easier for me to do it with other authors that I can like talk it through. I think because you have to have such a big picture of the whole series and where it's going. And with that one, we have 4 main characters, and it's easier to kind of think, okay, each character gets a book. And so it's a 4-book series, at least, maybe an 8-book series at some point. We'll see. But yeah, standalones, I don't know. I also kind of feel like Alex has been through enough. Do I really want to put her through a whole nother book of drama and you know, I don't know. Poor Alex.
She's been
Let's
through,
go with
yeah,
her.
Alex has been through enough. Aline, thank you for the great question. Diane would like to know, and I love this question. What a fabulous question. Kimberly, how do you reward yourself when you finish a book?
Well, first of all, a nap. I usually take a big nap.
Okay.
And it is important to mark it. I think I've marked every book a little differently. It kind of just depends on what time of year it's done and when it's happening. Like the one that I am currently writing now, my next solo book, I'm aiming to turn it in by Christmas so that I can actually have, this vacation and enjoy my family. And we're going to go to the beach after Christmas. So like, that's my carrot. I'm going to reward myself with the beach. A big
beach
nap.
Sounds like a fabulous idea. So wait, so you have to turn it in by Christmas?
Well, and I'm not turning it into my publisher. I'm going to give it to my agent. She is my first reader, and she and I are going to do some back and forth, but I turn it in like March. So I'm giving myself, she's kind of my first beta reader.
And you're going to reward yourself with the beach. I love that because I am such a beach girl. Aline saying she loved My Darling Husband, but she's not allowed to say for which publication. Aline is an amazing book reviewer for so many places, including the Sun Sentinel in Florida, Shelf Awareness, Publishers Weekly, and so many more. Aline, thank you so much for letting us know that you loved it. I loved that book as well. Diana would like to know, what are you reading now? How do you read? Digital or old school paper copies?
So I love both, actually. I like digital for when I'm in bed because I am I like to read right before I fall asleep. So, but I also love the actual paper books because on social media, it looks better when you have a real book. And on the Killer Author Club, I'm always, posting pictures of me with books. But right now I'm reading Megan Collins' next one. It's called Thicker Than Water.
Ooh.
I think it comes out in the summer.
Very cool. And Diane wants to know, when you're writing, do you use a murder board?
What's a murder board? Tell me
That's
more.
where you put it up on the wall, and it's like you would have like a picture of what you thought your character would look, and then you draw a line to the scene of the crime, and then there's on a map, and then you do this, and you sort of you graph it all out.
I don't, but now I want that. Now I want a whole murder wall. No,
Oh my gosh. If you do a murder wall, you have to thank Diane in the acknowledgments of your next book.
I love it. I actually do most of my stuff on, on my computer. So I don't really have like a murder board, but I have all my notes, all my pictures of what my characters might look like, their whole character sketch. I do that in Scrivener, which is software.
Fellow Scrivener girl here.
I love Scrivener.
The best $40 I've ever spent.
Totally. I say that all the time.
Yeah, it's such an amazing tool because you can put, as you said, all of your research in there and all of the links and everything, and it just makes everything so much easier to find.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, this book is getting all of the praise, and I want to hop over to some of it. So let's kick off with this one. I'm going to pop it up so we can all read it together from Wendy Walker, who says, a missing assistant on to an Instagram influencer, a mysterious dead body, and a nesting box. I love that. Of family secrets drive this cat and mouse thriller to a deliciously unexpected finale, a great page-turning read. So first of all, congratulations on that praise from the amazing Wendy Walker. Kimberly, let's talk about that that end. Are you a plotter? Are you a pantser? Did you know the end when you started? Did it come to you unexpectedly? Give us the scoop.
So I am a plotter and I have a very detailed outline before I write the first word. Things change as I'm writing, and I give myself room to let things change. But so
Okay.
far, this is book number 8, and I have never had solo book number 8, and I've never had an ending change from my outline.
I
So
love that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. You're a pro. Taylor, welcome to the conversation. She says, Kimberly, can you tell us what's next? Can you share anything if you're comfortable?
Sure. So we are busy with number 2 in the Young Rich Widow series. It'll be out from Audible in, I'm guessing, late spring, early summer. I don't know for sure, but definitely watch my socials because I'll definitely be screaming about that as soon as we have a pub date. And then my next solo book is called The Paris Widow. So it's all widows all the time in my house. And it is a book about a woman who's with her husband on Paris. They're in Paris. They're on vacation. And there is a kind of a freak explosion. And he is one of the victims. And in the days after, as they're digging through the rubble, the police tell her he's not just a victim, but also the target of the explosion.
Ooh, and okay, so that's The Paris Widow. And do you have a pub date on that, Kimberly?
I'm guessing it'll be 2024. I haven't heard anything. That's the one I don't turn in until March. So
Okay. That's the one you're going to reward yourself for the beach.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Diane is saying, she's saying perfect timing. She was also wondering about whether you use Scrivener or whether you're a plotter. Diane, clearly we are in alignment. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love all these questions. Thank you guys for all of this. I just want to make sure I get to all of them. Anissa, welcome to the conversation. She's saying she absolutely loved this book. Anissa, you're an amazing reader and bookstagrammer. Tell us what you loved about it, because I know you read so many books and you are a very discriminating reader. So let us know. Julie wants to know, is this Audible going to be in print? So the Young Rich Widows, I think, is what you're referring to, Julie. Let me know. So is it Audible only, Kimberly?
Currently Audible only, but keep all the fingers and toes crossed because we are very close to a print deal. So
yay! I'm knocking on my head for you. Yay. Shannon would like to know, can you give us any insights on the decision to bring Iris back briefly in the book? It was so nice to hear about what she's up to now. Tell us the scoop.
Yes. So I love that you saw that because, well, I might have written that in the book that I sent Shannon. I put little Easter eggs all through this book. And one of them, and it's only readers who are paying very close attention, who might have noticed, but Iris is my main character from The Marriage Lie. And because all my books are set, well, not all, but most of my books are set here in Atlanta, it's easy to have a little overlap. And so from My Darling Husband, there is a chain of restaurants that might make a little appearance in this book. There is Iris, who pops back in because she works at a private school where the two twins go to school. And when they get in trouble, Alex, the main character in The Personal Assistant, has to go to the school, and she's talking to Iris. So I love that you saw that. And it's super fun for me to like work those in there. And I'm always thrilled when readers pick it up on it because it's like super subtle, but
I love Easter eggs, as the cool kids call them. Kimberly, is that something you've always done, or is this new? Are you doing the eggs? Are you planting the Easter eggs for us for the first time this time?
I don't think this is the first time, but it gets, as books go on, like I said, they're set in Atlanta, so it gets easier and easier to put them in there.
Okay.
I would have to think a little bit about if this is the first time. My Darling Husband might have been actually the first one that I put a real Easter egg in there. But this one has, like I said, multiple from different books.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Diane is saying she cannot wait for Prime, Hulu, and Netflix to fight over the rights. Sarah, you must be in it. Oh my God, Diane, you're
Yes,
making me
please.
my whole day, my whole week, my year. That is very kind. This would make such a great show, Kimberly.
I think so too. Hulu, if you're listening,
come through Hulu. I absolutely love that. Let's get over to Diane saying, as a writer, she is not a fan of social media. She doesn't like being forced out of her private comfort zone. But ironically, her first thriller also has to do with social media. Oh, I love that. Yeah, because it is uncomfortable. Most of us are introverts, right? Most
Well,
writers are.
and what I also loved exploring in this book is like there's this, it's who you are online is not necessarily who you are in real life.
Yes.
And when you get, and this happens to Alex too, she gets sucked into this whole, social media thing. And then all of a sudden you start posting things that are maybe not 100%
Authentically
true.
Alex.
Yeah, authentic to who you are. And you're jonesing for likes and you're trying to get, viral and all these things. And so you push yourself way outside of your lane sometimes. And and like I said, her 12-year-old daughters, who are not always very nice to her, but they're calling her out on it. They're like, Mom, you're fake. She's like, fake? I'm authentically Alex. How can I be fake?
Right. Exactly. Diane's saying she loves it. Exactly. Yes, me too. I just want to get over to this review from the sorry, I want to get some of these too. Taylor saying she loves that. Thank you so much for answering her question. Catch a clue, aka Wendy's looking forward to Young Rich Widows 2. Carrie, welcome to the conversation, saying good evening. With the success of Young Rich Widows, will it go to, are we talking book 1 or book 2, Kimberly, or both?
Both.
Yay! Yay! Okay.
Crossing all the fingers and toes. Yeah. We're very close.
I am crossing all my fingers and toes. I want to get over to this review as well. This one from Sally Hepworth saying the personal assistant has everything I look for in a book: an intriguing premise, a suspenseful plot, and a theme that has me questioning my own choices and behavior under the shifting sands of perspective. I love that. I never knew who to trust. A masterful novel that I read in an afternoon. And that, of course, is from Sally Hepworth, the incredible New York Times bestselling author who has been on the show twice. Love all of her books. Heather Gudenkopf says this is a cautionary tale about what happens when you make an enemy in the social media age. Smart, timely, and humming with suspense. Oh, I love that review out from the incredible Heather Gudenkopf, who was on in January for her book, The Overnight Guest. Kate White, a best-selling author of The Second Husband, says Kimberly Belle has done it again. She's written another gripping, propulsive page-turner packed with never saw that coming shocks and surprises, with a plot that asks how much is too much to give away about ourselves. What a beautiful review from the incredible Kate White. I love her and her books. Aline saying, Sarah, thank you for doing these interviews. Oh my goodness. Aline, thank you for being here and for those kind words. Rebecca, welcome to the conversation, saying so looking forward to reading The Personal Assistant. Love all of your other books. She's so great, isn't she, Rebecca? Taylor wants to know, Kimberly, do you have an assistant? Eek.
So I get this question a lot since this book came out. Up until last year, I had my daughter she wasn't my personal assistant, but she was my social media person. But that's very different than a stranger who you hire and know not so much about, So I trusted my daughter. I'm not sure that I would trust another person with my social media. I might let them, file papers and do some other tasks for me. I'm not sure I would give them my passwords for social media. So currently, no. If I hired one, they would be not on my computer.
Does your daughter still have your passwords, Kimberly?
She actually does, but
Mm. If something happens, it's going to make Christmas real awkward.
I know, right?
Scott, welcome to the conversation. He would like to know, when did you first know that you wanted to be a writer, and what path did you follow to reach that goal? Great question, Scott. Thank you.
So, Scott, this is a really long answer, but I will do
We're
it in
here for the
like
tea.
super
Spill it.
quick. So I actually started writing when I lost a job many, many years ago, and it was kind of something that I had been playing with in my head. Like I wanted to write a book, but I wasn't sure I could do it. I didn't know if I had time. And then, like I said, I lost my job, and I woke up one morning and I was like, okay, I can go out and get another job, or maybe this is the universe giving me a push. So I sat down at my computer and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I started, I read everything I could get my hands on. I learned about structuring a novel. I learned about character. I learned about, all the millions of things you have to know in order to write a book. And so I wrote a book, and then I wrote another book, and then I wrote another book, and those were all my practice books. And so this was 2008 when I lost my job, and my first book came out in 2014. So that tells you a little bit about how long it took. But it's a long, long path for most authors. And someone once told me the most successful authors are not necessarily the best, but they're the most persistent. So I took that to heart, and I just kept going, and I've never looked back.
Ooh, that I'm interested about that idea of persistence, because I just hosted Darby Kane and Tessa Weggert, and Darby was saying, the thing about writing that nobody ever tells you is that it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. And I have been thinking that myself as I have been marathoning my way through copy edits this week. And it is about that persistence and perseverance and gutting through it.
Right.
So I hadn't heard that quote about the successful authors, and I think I'm going to noodle on that because that's very interesting.
Yeah. And, it's not just, that first book deal either. It's like, the personal assistant is book number 8, solo book, plus the, co-written book. So every single book, is a multi-year project, and you're always trying to get, write a better book, do better, push yourself, push your boundaries, learn more. So it's not just like you get a book deal and you're done.
No.
So it's not just a marathon to that book deal. It's a marathon all the way till you're done. And
then it's a marathon in marketing it and being on social media. And the next marathon comes along. Aline saying she loves Heather and Kate's books. This is very high praise from these two incredible authors. Exactly, Aline, right? I love Heather Goodenkoff and Kate White. Incredible authors, incredible books. Shannon wants to know, how can we get our hands on those practice books? Yeah. So first we're going to apply for a job to be Kimberly's assistant. Then once we have her password and keys to her house, we'll just help ourselves, Shannon.
Though there are a couple books in there that will never see the light of day, ever.
Do you have them, Kimberly? Do you still have them?
Probably on an external drive somewhere. They're no longer on my computer because I don't want to see those books.
I understand. Diane saying, I'm so happy, Kimberly, that you followed your destiny. Yes. How brave, not just to do the easier thing, which is to get another job exactly like that, the job that you had,
right?
But to gather the courage to learn a totally new path and then to follow it, persisting for 6 years before you got that book published.
Right. And I've never looked back. It's been the best thing ever. And as frustrating and exhausting as it sometimes can be, it's the best job in the world. I get to sit around all day in my pajamas.
Julie wants to know, Diane is laughing. Exactly. Julie wants to know, did you always want did you always write thrillers? Yeah, about these practice books. Did you always write thrillers, and what drew you to them? Great question, Julie.
So my first two books were kind of they were straddling the line between suspense and maybe women's fiction with a little bit of romance in them. And my publisher was actually the one that said, we'd really love for you to fit super solidly in one of these genres, and we think suspense is the one for you. And by then I had been with them for 2+ books, and I knew enough to know that when your publisher asks you to do something, there's only one acceptable answer. And that answer is yes, please. So I was like, of course I can write a suspense. I would love that. And then when I sat down, and that was The Marriage Lie that came out as the next book. And as soon as I started writing that book, I was like, oh, they were so right. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is the kind of book I love to read. It's the kind of book that keeps me entertained as I'm writing it, because there's so much pacing and exciting things. And, there's always something happening on the page. And so I really enjoy writing it. And yeah. And I can't imagine going to any other genre. Never say never, but for now I'm here.
I think Kimberly Belle is meant to write thrillers. I mean, I loved in The Marriage Lie how it wasn't the expected lie in the marriage. Like it wasn't the usual, what thing that you would expect when you're, and I love that. It was unexpected. Julie saying, thank you for answering her question. Julie, of course, that's what we're here for. I want to include this review from Kirkus, which raved a thoughtfully written, suspenseful story of intertwined lives that draws the reader quickly along to an unexpected ending, which we now know was plotted. Shayna, welcome to the conversation. She'd say, how did you design your day? How do you design your day as your own boss? I love your books, especially The Personal Assistant. Yay.
Well, thank you. How do I design my day? Like I said earlier in this show, I am a morning writer. So I try to get as many words as I can before, say, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And then after that, I move on to social media, emails, all the stuff that you have to do that has nothing to do with actual words on the page. And so I try to keep it, to, if I'm done before 4, that's kind of my jam. And then I can go work out and, get dinner together, all those things. So yeah. As much as I can early on.
I love that. I also love this review from the incredible Lisa Unger, and I'm going to pop it up very quickly. Oh, you know what? And then I'll get to that next question. Don't worry. I see it. I'm going to get there. And she says that I'm just popping it up right here. Hold on, I'm going to get it so we can see it all together. Belle delivers twist after twist and constant surprises in this riveting novel of domestic suspense. Who can you trust in your home and online? May Cobb raving. This is deliciously addictive, binge-worthy, and wholly unpredictable. This is calling it a juicy thriller.
And May knows juicy.
She sure does. She sure does. Taylor wants to know, what kind of book would you have written, do you think, if you had stuck with women's fiction? Cool question, Taylor.
I don't know. Women's fiction is so difficult. I think, the first 2 that came out of me before I knew really what genre I was writing in, The Last Breath, that's kind of my jam too. I think I would have stuck with those kind of novels where there's a suspense at the heart of it, but it's really about the relationships, in The Last Breath, it was the father and the daughter and the secret, like, did he or did he not do this horrible, awful thing? Her trying to figure out. I do love that. Somebody asked me the other day, like, what's your shtick? What's your thing that is kind of the common theme that's threaded through all your novels? And it didn't take me long to come up with the answer. It's betrayal and forgiveness. So all my novels, and, even the first 2, it's about betrayal and forgiveness, and, like, kind of, where's that line in the sand? Like, up to here, I can forgive you. And after this, bye, kind of thing. And, circumstances can maybe move that line around sometimes. And it kind of becomes a moving target depending on what's happening in the story. And I just love exploring that.
That is so interesting because I think, when I think about Kimberly Belle books, I think about getting into those cracks and crevices in a marriage, the why we choose to be with people, what they bring to the table, what they give us, what they don't. When you're looking at Stranger in the Lake, what do you need? Where are you lacking and what are you getting in the marriage lie? Where can you trust and recognize? All those tender, nebulous, shifting areas. But when you really boil it down to, it is about betrayal and forgiveness.
Yep.
I love that. Shannon saying the last breath is heart-wrenching. She absolutely loved it. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Shannon. And then back here, Shayna is saying, thank you for answering her question. Aline saying, Lisa Unger, another great
one.
writer. Oh, I love Lisa Unger. Oh my goodness, y'all. I just realized we are out of time, but time flies when you are having so much fun. Julie saying, thank you for answering her question. Thank you for answering all of these questions. Y'all, what a pleasure to welcome the incredible USA Today and internationally bestselling author Kimberly Belle back for a third time to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. She was one of the first authors I interviewed back in the spring of 2020 when I started this crazy idea. Here we are 2.5 years. I've lost track of time. 2.5 years later, and Kimberly's back, and what a pleasure to have shared this journey with you, Kimberly. Y'all, here's that link one more time. You're going to want to get your hands on this book. So pre-order now and then hop over and come join the Mystery and Thriller Mavens Facebook group. It is free and open to all. And that's where all the good tea is spilled. That's where we talk all the good stuff about the books after we read them. Chris Tuttle, welcome to the conversation, saying thank you so much for this. Look at that cute little puppy face. We have a mystery user saying thank you for joining us, friend. Catch a Clue saying thank you, Sarah, and Kimberly. Shannon saying thank you for a wonderful Q&A. Wendy saying thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been absolutely fabulous. Taylor, thank you. Dear wife is my absolute favorite, though, forever. Taylor, thank you so much for being here. Y'all, this is a wrap. Thank you so much. Be sure to join the group. Free and open to all. We'll continue the conversation over there. Kimberly, thank you for coming back. Y'all, don't forget to pre-order this book, and you are going to want to jump on in. Kimberly, I will look forward to having you back next year for lucky book number 4.
For sure, I'd love that.
Y'all have
tradition.
Yes, it is. Y'all have a great night. I will see you next week for Mystery Monday. Have a great night.